Well, there it is, guys. I took the gauges out. Here we have the pot's not completely empty yet. We still have a few things in here. I got to pull this down through to get this off. Got a little trouble with this guy here. Don't have the tools to get him off yet, but I'll get that. That's the piece that holds everything into place. It's set in rubber too. So, but anyway, as I can see here now, both lights. These are the gauges. Lights that go into the gauges light up the backlights for the gauges. Both these bulbs were blown, so those gauges weren't going to light up, obviously. The gauges themselves are in super good shape. Really nice. Here, the glass is super clean on them. I mean, I just gave it a wipe with a rag. Looks like nobody's ever rubbed them or wiped them much. They're brand new almost. They don't have any scratches. It's as clean as can be. A little color fade on the face in there, but it's not that bad. Actually, I don't mind that too much. It's all in all, it's a really nice little gauge, and the other one is equally as nice. It doesn't have any problems at all in terms of the glass. The glass is excellent. Like I said, there's a little color fade in some of the spots there. There's a little button on the side there for resetting the trip odometer works. I've set that back to all zeros, and that works well. I'm not sure if the gauges work other than that. I'd have to put them back together and find out. Like, I haven't driven the bike. It's moved it a little bit back and forth in the alley, but I never really got a chance to see whether or not those gauges work. I hope they do, because they're, like I said, they're pretty nice little gauges, and I will use those for sure. All this junk here is going to disappear. I always liked the bigger headlights on the bikes. This is actually it's a bigger headlight, but the light itself was actually a car headlight, which apparently didn't show really good lighting. Wasn't that great. But I mean, I don't drive after dark, usually on a motorcycle that much anyway, so it's not a big issue. But I will put that light back on. I don't know. I think it originally had a square, or not a square, but a rectangular light on it. Well, I like the round light better, so definitely put that back on it. I think this came off of a 400 Suzuki, same one that set of forks and the wheel came off of. It was a 300 Suzuki, and that 400 Suzuki, and that 400 Suzuki was the one that me and my nephew actually chopped, made into hardtail. He actually had two bikes. Yeah, he had two bikes. One was a running bike, and the other one was a parts bike. I guess that forks and wheels and stuff came off the parts bike. This probably came off the parts bike as well, I would think. So the other bike actually was put together and was registered and running, and he sold it to somebody else. We actually, like I said, hardtailed the bike and stretched it. The bike was probably, when I say stretched, I'm talking front to back. The bike was I think about an inch longer than my Fat Boy Harley, which is pretty long. But it was pretty cool. It came out, worked good. It was hardtail, no suspension in the back whatsoever, and it looked pretty slick. It was totally different. Nephew, he decided to piece together two chains because it was long enough that the original chain wasn't, going to be long enough to reach back to the sprocket on the back wheel. So he had two chains together to make that fit, and actually had the bike up and running. Drove it a lot before he sold it. Just like that. I mean, the way it was. But yeah, so I'm kind of thinking on what I can do with this one here. I'm not sure if I'd stretch it and make it a hardtail like that or not. Probably could, now that we've done it. Well, me and somebody else together have done it once. I did a lot of the grinding, cutting the metal and stuff, because I had the torches and I had the grinder and stuff like that. The welder, I did a lot of the welding. I let nephew do some of the welding too. He wanted to try welding. He'd never done it before. He's a welder now, but he tried it, he liked it, enjoyed it, and contributed a lot to the welding that went on to it. So that's the story on that. And this one here is going to be a whole new chapter here. This is totally different. Well, not totally different. This is a Suzuki. It's a bigger Suzuki. This is a 750, and she's quite a brute, that's for sure. I know this is a fast bike. I see the damn thing going, and it'll haul ass really good. It's a really quick bike. The only thing is, my brother had it for a while, and he seemed to think there was a clutch issue. And then my sister's husband there, he had it for a while after that. He agreed that there was a clutch issue, but I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of the way they described it would be that it would be a problem maybe with the pressure plate, maybe something going on there, because it didn't slip on the get-go, taking off. It seemed to slip at higher speeds. Well, I guess that's normal, higher speeds for it to slip, higher gears. And I think that maybe a little tweaking on that, if it's possible to make some adjustments on that pressure plate, put a little more pressure on it, then that might be the solution. I'm not sure. But then again, that's all contained within that specific motor. If I switch out, put the other motor on over there, the Harley motor, then that won't be an issue anymore because we'll have a totally different transmission. So I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do, but right now I'm kind of stripping this one down. There's no reason not to strip it down. Winter's coming on. The bike is not going to be going anywhere for a while. It won't be registered until the spring. So, you know, I'll keep all the parts. If I have to put everything back together some way or another to get it on the road, I'll do that. But in the meantime, I'll strip it down, see if I can get that engine out of it. Quite a little job taking them out. There's only a few bolts, really. It's not like that big of a deal, but they're heavy. But I've done that before. Taken 750 or 650 4-cylinder inline like that out of the frame and put a 550 into the frame. Did that all by myself. Of course, that's back when I was in my late 20s, early 30s or whatever, but that doesn't matter. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. And I could probably pull that out of there without too much trouble. I might do some measuring first to see if that engine, the Harley engine, is going to fit in there. It might be too tall to fit in there. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking if the bottom section of it, the oil pan section of it, or the crankcase section of it sits down between the two pieces of the frame. I think the frame's probably a little wider. Maybe not. I'm not sure if it's any wider on this one using a Harley frame or not. But if there's a possibility some of that could sit down through, the bike is high enough that doesn't touch the ground on turns or anything like that, then it might fit in there. It might be too tall. I don't know. I'm going to find out. I might even take a measuring tape and check that here in a couple of minutes. But like I said, in the meantime, though, you know, I'm taking the gauges off and kind of pop the headlight off. Wiring is always an ugly mess on these things. I might try to clean that up, get that out of sight somehow a little better. There's a lot of stuff that I don't like. Maybe some rewiring might not be a bad idea because wiring on these metric bikes, to me, I mean, I don't know a lot about them, but from what I've seen in the past, trying to figure them out, they were a little bit complex, a little overly complex, and I didn't really care for that the way it worked. Might be just better to simplify things a little bit and get rid of some of the excess wiring to clean it up, more or less get rid of some of the ugly, let's put it that way. There's a lot of ugly on here that needs to go. So we'll clean that up and see how that looks, and definitely get back to it a little bit here when I've got kind of a mock-up of how it's going to look here in the front. I'll start another video and let you guys have a look. Till then, peace out.